What's good, you guys? It is Will here from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing back in once again, coming at you with another video today. Now, what I want to talk about today is something that I wish I cared less about, and that is the perception of other people. You know, a perception of other people on who you are. Now, first of all, I think most people are really wrapped up in themselves to the point where they don't think as much as we would like. For example, I would probably assume that people are thinking about, if anyone's watching this right now, people are judging me for whatever reason, but in reality, they're not. They're probably not. They're probably thinking about themselves and their own life. That's just how we work. But with that being said, we're still always wrapped up. We're still always making assumptions about other people's judgment of us. You know, we're thinking, like, let's say we're walking by a stranger on a trail or something like that, and we kind of have that awkward engagement where we're like struggling to know when to make eye contact, what to say, and we think that person probably thinks that we're weird or strange, you know. But I think that what I've kind of learned is that that's a shell that I've got to abandon. You know, I can't sit up here and walk by someone thinking that they're thinking a certain way about me. You know, I have to literally abandon that shell and just say, like, no. Because, for example, if I were to walk past a stranger on a trail and I would just kind of have that awkward engagement, you know, it's like there's a certain energy that I'm putting off, whether they pick up on it or not. It's like, oh, I'm shy, I don't want to engage in conversation. But if I'm, you know, chest high, just looking at them with a smile, saying, hey, what's up, or something like that, that's that positive energy that I'm putting out there. That's that, like, confident, that confidence, you know. It vibrates, like, it seriously vibrates. And when you have these assumptions, like, for example, like even with people in your own life, like your friends, your peers, your parents, like, I think we all act a certain way around parents that we wouldn't act around friends. We act around friends a way we wouldn't act around coworkers and things like that. And that's sort of like how we work, right? You're not going to be able to have the same conversations with everybody, because people have different interests and people are different. But it's a different thing when you alter your personality around different people, you know. And, like, I talked about being a chameleon in the past, and being a chameleon can definitely work to your advantage in some cases, but it's hard for me sometimes to really almost figure out, like, how I should act or who I should be and which personality I should go to. And because it's like I'm thinking too much. I'm thinking that every little thing I say or don't say, you know, the people I'm, you know, trying to converse with are going to make all these judgments about me, and I'm assuming these things. So essentially, whatever assumption of their judgment I'm making is the reality that I'm basically manifesting. It's like if I ever, like, am around someone and I'm thinking, like, oh man, they probably think I'm a loser, whether it's because of how I look, whether it's because of, I don't know, something I said. It's just this sort of, you know, this almost innate trait, at least in me, but I'm assuming it's in a lot of people, to just overthink in that regard, overthink about how people are thinking about you. You know, and that's what I'm saying. If you do look at yourself kind of in that light of, like, oh, being a loser, being, you know, questioning your own self-worth, you're going to give off that energy. And when I'm alone, when I'm, like, right here, basically, when I'm talking to the camera, or when I am writing on my computer, typing on my computer on a digital piece of paper, it's like that's when I'm authentic. That's when all those shells are abandoned. That's when I am able to put all those assumptions to the side and say, I don't care. Like, this is just me just doing what I'm doing. You know, this is just what I am doing. Like, there's no boundaries. Like, whenever I'm writing, whenever I'm speaking to myself, basically, I just feel like I can talk about anything. I feel like I can be just basically how I feel. I can rely more on instinct and a primal nature than have to really think about my next move and think about what I should say. Or, I mean, obviously there are cases you should definitely think about what you're going to say to people, but there's also to an extent to that. Like, you don't want to just keep thinking and thinking and thinking, right? Like, in school, there were these Socratic seminars. In high school, there were these Socratic seminars that we would do where you get in a larger group, like in a circle. The whole class would get in a circle, and you would debate about any topic. And there would be times where I would have something to say. You know, I'd be like, okay, I kind of want to bring this up. And then whenever I get a chance to say it, when there's a pause or whatever, someone's done speaking, it's like I'm thinking like, do I say it? Can I say it? And it just, I'm overthinking it. And then someone else jumps in, and then the topic changes, and then there you are thinking about something else again. And sometimes it's honestly best to just, if you have something to say, no matter what it is, no matter what it's about, then say it. Because I think everyone, I know everyone has valuable things to say. We all bring something to the table in conversation, in the world, in life, in society. And everything, I mean, I think we all have value. You know, we all can say something, we can bring something to a conversation that people would want to hear, right? So it's like, for me, I'm just trying not to second guess myself, and that's like not to shun this authentic side of me as much, man. You know, like, these are the ways that I express myself, you know, through written words, through videos recorded when I'm alone, whatever the case may be. But it's something that I'm grateful to have discovered. But at the same time, it's like trying to really get myself out there and be myself in the presence of others. And, you know, I've talked about abandoning your shell in this video. In the book that I'm currently writing, the 5th chapter, which is the one I'm working on right now, is called ecdysis. And what that means is basically a reptile shedding its skin. You know, and I have always looked towards like a snake as somewhat of my spirit animal, because of the way it sheds skin and is able to literally go through that cycle of, at least like physically, life, death, and rebirth. And I think that we go through that cycle in our own lives, like throughout our own lives, not just in the sense of when we actually physically die, but literally throughout our own lives, we go through cycles of life, and then we kind of move on, or we let go of something, and then we begin anew, and then there's that cycle of rebirth entering in, you know. And I think that, like, I truly think there's like no boundaries to anything. There's just no limit, you know. But, and also I think there's no, I mean, I'm not trying to stray too far off topic, but this illusion of I, like, there's no I, you, me, like, there is one, you know, there is unity. Everything begins with one, other than 0, that is. But you get, for example, you get the number 4, right? You get 4 because of 1 4s, you know, 1 added on another, you can't get 4 without 1, you know. So it's like everything begins with 1, and it expands, and it's 1 on top of 1 on top of 1. Like, that's how the human race exists. It's 1 on top of 1 on top of 1, and together it's still 1, you know. But we tend to forget that. Like, we tend to forget that we are one race. You know, in the world, we just so often go against one another. And I feel like at times there's not even enough love in the world. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit up here and say that my opinions, that my beliefs are in any sense truth. I believe they are valuable, just like everyone's, but I don't think they're in any way truth. And I would be very naive to assume, you know. But I think a lot of people do believe that. And it's like, I think there comes a point in time where you really have to see from other perspectives. Obviously, you've only been in your own, you've only seen things from your own perspective, but at the same time, like, kind of trying to put yourself in other people's shoes and understand the way they think is I think, is huge. Being able to empathize and understand. And it's something that I've come to realize is that, like, no matter what I believe, people out there follow, believe, and invest faith into just the opposite of what I think is in any capacity truth, or what I follow. You know, and again, I'm straying a little bit with this topic, but it's one of those things where I'm in a period of my life where I feel like I am trying to really abandon that shell, trying to really get myself out there and not have all these different personalities, not be a chameleon. Whether or not I'm standing out, I don't want to be in this place blue and in this place green, you know, like I want to be able to be just one, just one, this one body, this one life, this one mind that I've been given. You know, I want to embody that and feel from other people's perspectives and be able to talk about a lot of things, but also not really have to feel like I need to change my personality so that people I'm speaking with, or so that I don't assume people I'm speaking with are judging me in a certain way, you know? And even if they are, it's like, that's not in my control, you know, like, we can't control other people's perspectives and thoughts. Like, it's just, people will think how they think, be how they are, and if they judge you for something, if they judge me for something, whatever the case may be, it's like, I can't control that, you know? Like, it comes down to controlling what you can control and really trying to hone in on that, because there's so much that is left out of our control, but in our own lives, we can control a lot. And trying to grow into someone who, you know, isn't almost like afraid of the outer world, trying to grow into someone who can converse and initiate conversation with strangers is a big step that I'm still trying to take, a borderline leap that I'm trying to take. And as the time keeps going on, and, you know, I'm still here at home in a small town, just trying to, you know, keep expanding my connections, it's not always the simplest thing to do. And I think there's also a level of gratitude that's important to practice, right? Of being like a humble and also appreciative of everything you do have. I mean, that's helped me tremendously when you think about the fact that you're even still alive, the fact that you have a roof over your head, or maybe you don't, the fact that you have the ability to watch this, the ability to, you know, have people around you, family, friends, anybody. It starts with being really grounded and grateful for the, you know, even the most minor aspects, the most minor things you have, the most minor aspects of life, and, you know, kind of just building off of that. That's what building the empire is. You start with the roots, you know, you plant the seeds. You don't just watch the flower grow without planting the seeds, right? You have to plant the seeds and watch everything slowly build its way up, and trust that in due time, whatever you're trying to accomplish, whatever seeds you did plant, ultimately grow. And that's what I'm hoping to just kind of keep trying to inspire people and express myself through art and make that into a career. And, you know, the seeds of potential have definitely been planted, and there's no guarantees, but the thing is, there's also no limit. You know, like I, like you, like all of us can achieve anything. The sky isn't the limit, man. We can do anything we need, anything we want to do. And it just starts by planting the seeds and, you know, just building off of that. But also knowing when the time is right to kind of abandon that shell and shed your skin and you know, begin anew, accept and embrace the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. So yeah, I feel like I got everything I needed to say out in this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, took something from it. Even if you didn't, thank you so much for watching. We just put out our 400 subscriber special, and again, it means the world, right? Without those people who are willing to watch it, without you guys, we wouldn't be making these videos, of course. Like, you know, we're just trying to be a voice and really inspire anyone we can and tell our own experience as well. And even be interested in new, engaging comments and thoughts from anybody who's willing to tune in. So again, much love. Thank you guys as always for watching. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And Will from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing out.